Good morning. The July 27th, 2026 special meeting of the Safety, Transportation, Engineering, Projects, Sports, and Experiences Committee, STEPS, more formally known as the Transportation, Waterfront, and Seattle Center Committee, will come to order. It is 9:31 a.m. I am Rob Saka, chair of the committee. Will the committee clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Foster.
Here.
Councilmember Kettle.
Here.
Councilmember Lynn.
Here.
Vice Chair Rink.
Here.
Chair Saka.
Here.
Chair, there are 5 members present.
Thank you. If there's no objection, the agenda will be adopted. Hearing and seeing no objection, the agenda is hereby adopted. Good morning, colleagues, members of the public. Thank you for joining us at this morning's meeting. We will start the meeting on a somber note. Last night, there was a shooting at the annual Bite of Seattle event at Seattle Center. My office has been in close contact with the Seattle Police Department, Seattle Center staff, the mayor's office, along with my colleague, Public Safety Committee Chair, Councilmember Kettle, and the Council President, of course. A lot of folks involved since we heard the news. The latest information we have is there were 2 shooters who appeared to be shooting at each other. There are 7 known casualties at this point, 3 dead and 4 wounded. 1 suspect is in custody and the other remains at large. This is currently an active police investigation. Anyone who has information about the incident or about the identity or location of the outstanding suspect is asked to please call the SPD Violent Crimes tip line at 206-233-5000. That's 206-233-5000. At this point, I'd like to observe a moment of silence for the victims. Thank you. As hard as it may be, we will continue with the business of our committee. We haven't met as a full STEPS committee since May 21st due to the Select Committee on the Seattle Transportation Benefit District, which recently concluded. With that work now complete, I want to recognize the hundreds of hours SDOT devoted to developing the Seattle Transit Measure. From the initial proposal to final amendments, their expertise and collaboration with my office shaped the measure heading to the November ballot. So thank you, SDOT. This committee will resume our twice-monthly cadence starting next week. I have scheduled this special meeting to handle a couple of time-sensitive items. Our first agenda item is a briefing on an ordinance granting permission for the construction of a skybridge over and across 8th Avenue in the First Hill neighborhood. We received an initial briefing in April of 2025, so a little over a year ago. Our second agenda item is a briefing on a petition for vacation of an alley in the Greenwood neighborhood. We received an initial briefing back in May of this year. Today's items may seem technical, somewhat routine, but they do shape community spaces. A skybridge or alley vacation shifts public right-of-way into private hands, requiring careful review, consideration, and full transparency. Now, our job is simple. Ensure the public receives equal or greater value in return, in exchange. Managing basic city operations, one might say, isn't particularly glamorous, but it is very essential. The decisions this committee makes today may not draw headlines like the Seattle Transit Measure, but they do keep the city moving forward. By tending to this everyday work, we model effective local governance, steady, attentive, and committed to the public good. Thank you. We will now open the hybrid public comment period. Public comments should relate to items on today's agenda and within the purview of this committee. Clerk, how many speakers are signed up today?
Chair, we currently have one in-person speaker signed up, and there are 2 remote speakers.
Thank you. Each speaker will have approximately 2 minutes. We will start with the in-person speakers first. Clerk, could you please read the public comment instructions?
The public comment period will be moderated in the following manner. Speakers will be called in the order in which they registered. Speakers will alternate between sets of in-person and remote speakers until the public comment period has ended. Speakers will hear a chime when 10 seconds are left of their time. Speakers' mics will be muted if they do not end their comments within the allotted time to allow us to call on the next speaker. The public comment period is now open, and we will begin with the first speaker on the list, Doug Palmer.
Thank you. My name is Doug Palmer. I'm a resident of the Skyline community, which is petitioning for the skybridge on your agenda. On behalf of some 400 Skyline residents, I want to say how excited we are to be on the verge of finally getting final approval for the skybridge. We're ready to start construction as soon as we get the green light. It will make a huge difference for the safety of our residents and for the quality of our lives as we age in place in our urban environment. Thank you for your continued support in this effort.
Thank you, sir.
We'll now switch to our remote callers. Our first remote caller is David Haynes. David, please press *6.
Hi, David Haynes. I just want to say it's time to continue the redevelopments, and you can take a look at how long it takes to get to this point. It's like we need to expedite vacating that alleyway and allowing a safer passage with the skybridge. The thing is like, on a separate note, the Seattle Center, why is the police chief always out of town? Is he just enjoying his paycheck and then he comes up with all these excuses as to the reason why he's getting caught up to speed, and he always has that staffing issue excuse? I've noticed he keeps using the propaganda of trying to defer to his captains of the different precincts. Like it's like, let's blame the captains instead of the police chief who's withholding some of the crime-fighting tools. You know, kudos to the cops who shut that one dude down, but I hate to say this, I'm not trying to be too sarcastic, but after the Friday incident, when the 2 parachuters jumped, were the cops deployed at the base of the Seattle Center, resulting in them being a little delayed in getting to where the shooting was? Sorry to point that out, you know, but how much resource is being wasted trying to find those parachutists compared to how much resource is being used to find the other shooter, you know? Anyway, we need a 21st century, first world quality redevelopment, and we need to start vacating the side streets to create a more green-built, walkable neighborhood that's not on the side of the road. And, you know, where's the 18-wheeler from Fred Meyer's going to go? Are they going to drive right past where all those people are living? You know, because I hear people talk about the character of the neighborhood, but Fred Meyer's big box is kind of ugly. So when community shows up looking for some free space on somebody's private lot, it's kind of a stuck-up, hypocritical thing to like point out how you're going to dictate how somebody else is going to develop something. We need more robust floor spaces. Anyway, shut down the road and
Thank you, Mr. Haynes. The other remote commenter we have signed up is Angelo De Jesus. Angelo's not currently in the queue. Oh, please. Looks like he'll be joining us in person.
Come on, welcome.
I'm Angelo De Jesus, and I live in District 7. Sorry, I'm Angelo De Jesus.
Both work. You just got to speak into, and let's reset his time. You just got to speak as close to the mic as possible.
Okay,
Almost
I'll
eat.
just speak up. Hi, I'm Angelo De Jesus. I live in District 7, and pretty much I agree with you guys are doing with the Sky Bridge. We need more of that from Capitol Hill down from District, you know. My big issue, I have a big issue about yesterday because I live in Seattle. So I live right there. And I saw during FIFA snipers on top of buildings, all types of defense on top of my own building the police department put drone sniping, like stopping material. Sorry, I'm not a great public speaker, but they had the capability to stop drones. So how did someone jump off the Space Needle? How does this happen? And I feel like it's a lack of care. Yeah, the world's eyes are on us before from FIFA, and now worse than ever. And you know, people let their guard down, all the way down. People are taking vacations during Bite of Seattle. And you know, a lot of our infrastructure, and you know, I feel like we are lacking in taking care of our roads, our school systems. Port of Seattle stopping real estate development in Soto. What is that? You know? How? We need to redistrict, rezone, and protect our citizens. Because I pay a lot in taxes. And all due respect, so do you. So does everyone here. You know? And you guys are going to raise up taxes again. You know? This is a problem. And we need accountability from all stands. And you're a veteran, sir. This happened in a veterans district. I'm a veteran too. I was in the Navy. And you know what? I don't like this. I'm very upset. Sorry, guys. You guys have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Chair, that was our final public commenter.
All right. Thank you for everyone testifying today. Let's see. We will now move on to our first item of business. Will the clerk please read item 1 into the record?
Agenda item 1, briefing, discussion, and possible vote. Council Bill 121242, an ordinance granting FH LLC, doing business as Skyline, permission to construct, maintain, and operate a pedestrian skybridge over and across 8th Avenue, south of Columbia Street and north of Cherry Street in the First Hill neighborhood, and providing for the acceptance of the permit and conditions.
Thank you. Looks like our presenters have joined us at the table. Welcome. Once ready, please introduce yourselves and begin your presentation.
Hello, my name is Amy Gray, and I'm with the Seattle Department of Transportation.
Mark Brands, Site Workshop Landscape Architects and Consultant to the applicant.
I'm Rebecca Maskin, Central Staff. So the topic before us today is a Skyline Skybridge, and as you eloquently stated already in the beginning, that this is a step to approve an ordinance allowing this skybridge to begin construction. This is in the first neighborhood. It is spanning, the skybridge will span districts 7 and 3 in connecting these two residential towers. This is a second step in approving a skybridge term permit. The first step was, as you stated, the council passed a resolution back in April of 2025. And this final step, once the proponents have completed their final design after getting that initial resolution approval, they come back to the table and demonstrate the conditions have met and the terms of the permit are in place. And the final step for this is that the council would approve the term permit for the skybridge. So we have our guests today to talk a little bit about the project and answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today and present Skyline's proposal. As Rebecca noted, they are seeking approval to build and maintain a pedestrian skybridge over 8th Avenue between Columbia and Cherry Streets. And it will connect the two properties at 725 9th Avenue, the Cascade Tower, and the 715 8th Avenue Olympic Tower. And as noted, can't resist the pun here, it connects, the bridges the two districts between District 3 and District 7, and SDOT is recommending approval. Next step. So skybridges have a high threshold to meet, and it has been City Council's direction for many years to limit them. Skybridges take pedestrians off the street and have a visual impact on the pedestrian realm. To offset these adverse impacts, developers are required to provide public benefits that remain the responsibility of the developer for the duration of the permit. Later in the presentation, you will see the public benefits Skyline is proposing. Next slide. And as Rebecca noted, this is the second step in the two-step approval. You adopted Resolution 32166 in 2025, providing conceptual approval. And this ordinance will set the terms and conditions of the skybridge permit, and as well as the obligations for the ongoing public benefits. Next slide. let me just, this skybridge will provide an above-grade connection for residents, staff, and visitors, and the permit will be in place for 15 years with a renewable 15-year term. Next slide. So this red circle shows the approximate location of the skybridge in First Hill. And the next slide. And this red rectangle shows the approximate location of the skybridge over 8th Avenue. I'm going to turn it over to Mark Brands to continue the presentation.
Thanks, Amy. So these are two existing buildings. One is relatively new. So this is this transforming age Skyline community. And the Cascade Tower, which is a full block, was existing, and several years ago, the Olympic Tower was built. And at that point, there was a real desire to link these two. They have critical facilities that need to be linked, and as we've expressed to committee before, this is really important to the health of this population. The existing conditions, again, are those two buildings, and so we're linking across 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue is a 66-foot right-of-way, so that's what we're asking for the term permit. The skybridge is a bit longer. It's over 100 feet to connect these two buildings. The existing tree canopy in First Hill is significant, and you'll see it here. You see it here in this slide, and we are literally threading a needle to get the skybridge in. The image to the left, we've stripped away the trees so you can see the connection. Again, it's a 66-foot right-of-way. The bridge is much longer than that. And then when we put the trees back in, it really does consume the skybridge. So there's a good portion of the year that it's obscured by the street tree canopy. These are deciduous trees, by the way. So we have a package of 4 public benefits that we've been working with, and we've worked pretty tightly with the community, starting with First Hill Improvement Association. So there's open space and art that are combined on 8th Avenue. Then we have pedestrian improvements further along. There's a key intersection that we're focusing in on pedestrian improvements for safety. And then we have a wayfinding package that we're contributing back to on the park-to-park loop. And I'll give a shout out to FIA, who is, and Ellen Green, the executive director, really pushing the use of our city streets, and that's the park-to-park loop. So all of these benefits contribute back to their bigger initiative of the park-to-park loop. So the first two work together. That's art. We are very lucky to have artist Georgia Gerber. She's a very well-known artist locally for her bronze sculptures, probably most famously for Rachel the Pig at the Market. So we have her working with a set of salmon that animate the space. It's this deep setback on 8th Avenue. You can see it in the lower right image. And then we're complementing that with art in the landscape in the right-of-way. So we're really trying to do better and create a bit of a pocket park here on private property to contribute back to the neighborhood. First Hill, too, I'll just mention that is really starved for open space. So this is not insignificant, even in a small bite of park space. The other two benefits are the improvements at 8th and Marion. It's a very wide intersection, so we're narrowing it, doing curb extension or curb bulbs, you hear that term, to really shorten the crossing for pedestrians. This is a highly trafficked during rush hour. And so that's a very important contribution, again, back to the neighborhood. And then lastly is, which we're very excited about, we helped develop a new category typology for street signage and in the Seamless Seattle wayfinding package. So this really relates to, we hope other neighborhoods do this as well. So that's just using signage to hang it on existing poles in the ground plane, interpretive signage to promote walking in the neighborhood loops. You see it, if you've ever experienced Market to Mohi, that's a great example as well. Won't go through this, but there's a comprehensive list of benefits. We itemize it. We give back to you a cost estimate on the right of screen, the right column, to share with you what the developers actually, what it cost them. And then public outreach was significant for this project, and we always like to leverage FIA and their reach, that's First Hill Improvement Association, to get back into the community, understand what they would like. We also held a series of coffee hours in 6 coffee shops in the neighborhood, which helped us gather comments from daily workforce, doctors, staff, visitors to the institutions, folks, residents that live in the community, and it was very successful, as you can see by the comments on the screen. Turn it back over to Amy.
Okay, next slide. So we are requesting City Council approve the skybridge and the public benefits as proposed by Skyline. And as I noted, that the ordinance, if it is approved, will be for 15 years with a renewable 15-year term. And we are happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the presentation here, colleagues, especially because I note that while we did hear this in committee about a year ago, a little over a year ago, not all current members of the committee were on the committee at the time. In fact, we have two new members. So, but I will point everyone's attention to slide number 4, the process for new permits. The first one kind of talks about the history and is a general statement of what typically happens in these kind of requests. So we would hear and consider and adopt a resolution of some sort granting basically essentially permission for the parties to proceed and further discuss, kind of what the appropriate terms and conditions, and especially what we typically care about as a legislative body and the decision maker at the elected official level, the final level of these engagements. What are the proposed public benefits? And when we engage in these conversations, that's really the most meaningful, the best opportunity for us to provide feedback and directional guidance and input on the scope of those proposed public benefits and what that should be. Because again, the hallmark of all of this is, sure, we are able to grant these skybridge permits and vacation alley requests, et cetera, but the hallmark is what are the proposed public benefits that we're receiving in exchange, the public is receiving in exchange. And so that first stage is really the best opportunity, not the only opportunity, the best opportunity to provide directional feedback on what those proposed public benefits should ideally be. And then at the ordinance stage, at number 2, is review, consideration, and potential passage of an ordinance that details those obligations. It would be perfectly appropriate for us as a body to say, hey, we think there should be additional public benefits, or tweak the edges around these corners. It would just effectively, at that point, result in further delays to the project. But it is our responsibility to ensure that the adequacy and sufficiency of the proposed public benefit meets the standard that we set. So, in any event, important project, colleagues. Now I will turn it over to you all for any comments, questions you may have from your perspective, starting first with Councilmember Kettle.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. Thank you for Central staff and SDOT and the advisors on this project, the architect on the project. Thank you very much for being here. And of course, the Skybridge community. Colleagues, it's a community that I know well. I've been there many times along with council presidents because as it turns out, one part of it is in my district and one part of it is in the council president's district. So, so it is a link between Council President Hollingsworth and I, and something that we've shared and our gratitude and enjoyment of our time at Skybridge, not Skybridge, at Skyline, and to meet the community. And it's a very important community. And one part of this community, it's elder community is the healthcare medical piece. And that is to the permit process. That is a key thing for me, is the fact that you have the healthcare medical aspect to the Skyline community. And it's very difficult given the age, and no disrespect for those in the audience who may be older than me, is very difficult. If you live on one side and then you have to get treatment, you have to do an appointment on the other side. Because of the environmental pieces, for those who haven't been in the high wind situations, but also as noted in the briefing, as usual, 8th Avenue becomes a bit of a drag race because people are trying to race using side streets in order to get to James and I-5 and other locations. But to the technical piece, I do want to highlight the healthcare medical piece and how important this is. This is the major hook and something that we see throughout First Hill with our healthcare community. I mentioned connection to the community, the linkage between two districts, but it's also two communities, two buildings that need to be connected, and for the community that is there at Skyline and that connection, and the connection to the neighborhood as well. For those that don't know, I have a District 7 Neighborhood Council, which is a council of councils, if you will, all the way from Magnolia Council down to across the entire district to the First Hill Association. And with the leadership of First Hill and what they do for the community and their engagement to include on this project has been great. And I thank the Skyline community for that reverse, for these coffee chats and the like, and for the improvements that are being made. Key of all those, some are aesthetically very important, very nice, but key is basically the Vision Zero improvements. The pedestrian safety is key, because colleagues, if it's one thing if you're 20, you can bounce across that street, 30, 40, 50, I'm now 60, I can get there, but it becomes very difficult for our constituents, for our neighbors in the Skyline community to get between and around, and so this bridge is very important beyond connecting with medical facilities, but also safety from the pedestrian side. And I thank everyone for the work that they've done, both on the city side, thank you, but also from the community. I really appreciate the work, and colleagues, both Council President and I definitely support this 110%. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Kettle. Councilmember Vice Chair Rink, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair Saka. It's no question that this is a somber morning, but I will say taking up this issue in particular brings a little bit of light to my morning, just because it has been a while in the making. I've been following this issue for about 2 years now. 2 years ago was when I first visited the Skyline community, and this was brought to my attention as just a real issue. And I recall a conversation with a gentleman who was telling me that his wife, and because of his wife's mobility challenges, needed to leave the building and go all the way to the end of the block where the curb cuts are and walk through and be able to go across the street there rather than cutting across in the middle of the street, just because that wasn't in the cards for her. And that alone kept her from going to a lot of the events in the theater across the street. So when we're talking about this issue, I know we're talking about Skybridge, but we're really talking about livability and social emotional health for the residents of the Skybridge community. And that is why I'm excited to take up this issue today. So I will be voting yes. I'm glad that, I know it's been a fair amount of work to get to this point. I think the community benefits that have been laid out are quite exciting to me as well. But in particular, I am excited to see this Skybridge go forward and have more Skyline residents be able to be connected to one another. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions on the proposal before us? Okay, hearing and seeing none. I move the committee recommend approval of Council Bill 121242. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, some eager beavers here with the seconds. Let the record reflect that there were 2 attempts for a second by Vice Chair and Councilmember Kettle. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to recommend approval of Council Bill 121242. Will the clerk please actually, any other comments? We have a pending motion, a second. Let me make a minor correction to my own script. We have a pending motion, it's been seconded. Any other comments, questions before we proceed to a vote? No? All right. Will the committee clerk please call the roll on the recommendation?
Councilmember Foster.
Yes.
Councilmember Kettle.
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rink.
Yes.
Chair Saka.
Aye.
Chair, there are 5 votes in favor and 0 opposed.
All right, the motion carries, and the committee recommendation that the City Council approve Council Bill 121242 will be sent to the August 4th, 2026 City Council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you to members of the public and the impacted community for showing up today and sharing your feedback about this proposal. Very helpful and instructive. We will now move to our second item of business. Will the clerk please read item 2 into the record?
Agenda item 2, briefing, discussion, and possible vote. Clerk file 314530, petition of the YEW LLC for the vacation of a portion of the alley lying within Block 2, Wegener's addition to the City of Seattle, being the block bounded by North 87th Street, 1st Avenue Northwest, Palatine Avenue North, and North 85th Street at 8623 Palatine Avenue North.
Thank you. Looks like our presenters have joined us at the table. Welcome. Once ready, please introduce yourselves and begin your presentation.
Amy Gray, Seattle Department of Transportation.
Once again, Rebecca Maskin from Central Staff. So I'll lay out the process a little bit, and then Amy will describe this process or project a little bit more. So again, our second topic today is recommending conditional approval for an alley vacation for the YEW multi-unit residential building in the northern edge of District 6 in Greenwood. First steps on this project were completed in February of 2024, where there was a briefing on this project. In May of 2026, there was a public hearing at this committee that initially reviewed the list of conditions that are associated with the public benefit for this project. And also there was a public hearing. There were no comments held or given at the public hearing as well. So today is the most substantial and kind of penultimate step before this vacation is officially granted. This step approves the conditions of approval and adds them to the clerk file that you will vote on potentially and approve that clerk file today. Later on down the road, after the project is constructed, the topic will come back to before the council and seeking a final ordinance that will grant the alley vacation. So now I'll turn it over to Amy from SDOT for a little bit more on this project.
Sure. Do you want to go to slide 3? Thank you again for the opportunity to speak on this proposal. This is a partial alley vacation in, sorry. That's okay. So this is a partial alley vacation in Greenwood, and this is a depiction of the project site. The southern portion of the alley was vacated under a previous ordinance in the 1970s, and this is the remnant portion of that. They are proposing to do 101 units of rental housing there, and this alley vacation would consolidate the site. And to the west is a conservation site where they are proposing as part of their public benefit to do improvements there, habitat restoration, and some art elements to highlight the native birds in the area, and some habitat for birds, including birds' nests, houses, and things like that. They have this proposal has been thoroughly evaluated through SDOT, other city departments, including Seattle Public Utilities and Seattle City Light, related to utilities and access, and along with the Seattle Design Commission has weighed in on the public trust analysis and the proposed public benefit. Alley vacations are a permanent privatization of public assets, and so they have a very high threshold to meet. Council has adopted policies that we must address in these proposals, and the YEW has participated in community engagement that informed their public benefits and has gotten their buy-off on that, and both the Seattle Design Commission and SDOT is recommending City Council approve this petition. I'm not very familiar with this presentation, so I'm going to slide to where I can. I also can't do two things at once. I can't speak and navigate a PowerPoint. So I can do that, yeah. So These are just more images of the alley vacation. We require they look at no vacation alternatives to see what could be potentially built on the site versus what the vacation will achieve. Extensive community outreach. There will be some street level uses. So this is the overview of the public benefit proposal. There will be an extended sidewalk connection. There will be a new widened sidewalk. Highlighted in orange, there's currently no sidewalk, and so the project is going to be developing a sidewalk along that and along First Avenue Northwest. And they're going to, like I said, expand and enhance the existing green space, open space. It will not be publicly accessible because it's a conservation site, but there will be viewpoints in for people and pedestrians to look into and see the habitat restoration and bird environment. And then here's a table that gives approximate project estimates. And SDOT is recommending City Council approve the petition. And like Rebecca said, at the end of the project, when they've completed everything, including all their public benefits, we will come back to you to present to you that they have completed the project, that all the public benefits have been done, they have paid their fee to acquire the right-of-way, and at that point, council would vote to approve the final vacation, which forever takes it out of the public trust. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Colleagues, at this point, we will entertain any comments, questions on this proposal. Always normally starting with our vice chair, if you have any. Vice Chair Rink.
Not today. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other comments, questions on the proposal before us? Seeing none, let me shed a little light on the path ahead here. So this vote will proceed in two parts, colleagues. First, we will vote to add SDOT's recommended conditions. And then, if there's no objections, we will vote on granting the clerk file as specifically conditioned. All right. Now, I move the committee amend clerk file 314530 to add SDOT's recommended conditions as shown in attachment 1 to Council Central Staff's memo. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to add the conditions to the clerk file 314530. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none. Thank you. Will the committee clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Foster.
Yes.
Councilmember Kettle.
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rink.
Yes.
Chair Saka.
Aye.
Chair, there are 5 votes in favor and 0 opposed.
Thank you. Let's see, now we will move the clerk file as conditioned. Let's see here. Okay. I move the committee recommends City Council grant as conditioned the clerk file 314530. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to grant as conditioned clerk file 314530. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll on granting of the clerk file?
Councilmember Foster.
Yes.
Councilmember Kettle.
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rink.
Yes.
Chair Saka.
Aye.
Chair, there are 5 votes in favor and 0 opposed.
Thank you. The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that City Council grant, as specifically conditioned, clerk file 314530 will be sent to the August 4th, 2026 City Council meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone. We have reached the end of today's meeting agenda. Our next meeting will be held on August 6th, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. Is there any final business to come before the committee before we adjourn? Hearing and seeing no further business to come before the committee, we are adjourned. It is 10:11 a.m. Thank you.